Okay, so really quick. I'm really curious. I don't think I've ever talked about this subject on YouTube or on social media or anywhere really, but I'm super curious. So, how many of you have dated a narcissist? I hope you said no. If you said yes, I'm so sorry. It sucks. So, I know that word's thrown around quite a bit and it's not always accurate. So, if you're saying it, make sure that you know the clinical definition. Because it's important to know and not just kind of throw that around because we don't want to call people narcissists that aren't. That's not nice. Anyways, I dated a very dangerous narcissist when I was like 19. I mean, like the physically dangerous kind. And it sucked really bad. And I learned what the red flags were, obviously. And, I've been watching for that when, throughout life, right? And, I haven't encountered too many, thank God. But recently I did. And holy cow, like, man, it's like exhausting, right? So there's some red flags to watch for, which you may or may not know. So I wanted to chat about just a couple of those because there's some that are kind of obvious on the front side. And if you know what those are, you can pay closer attention. And I'm sure, you can add whatever you want to this. I would love to hear thoughts and different ideas and ways to identify. I think it would be helpful to everybody that is in that scene. And so, these people typically have like this grandiose idea of themselves. Like they think that they're, godlike. And a lot of them are successful. And, but that doesn't mean that you're entitled and that you're always right and that you have the right to treat other people poorly. And that is kind of the disconnect, right? And they say that you have to have a little bit of narcissism or narcissistic traits rather to be successful. And that may or may not be true. I don't know. I don't have proof of it either way. But if that's the case, then, then okay. Having narcissistic traits is totally different than being a full-blown narcissist. So these narcissists have this way of making themselves big and making themselves like they can't be wrong. They may even say that. I'm never wrong. I'm always right. Now, if they're trying to win you over, they may not say that because they are also kind of sneaky that way. They'll mimic your behavior. They'll learn about you, and then they'll use it against you later. It's really bizarre. So watch for that for sure. They typically target two kinds of people. One of them is like empaths, people who care a lot about other people. They're very, sensitive and kind and caring. And so they're considered easy targets because they're going to probably not see through it as quickly. And they're going to be more kind and gentle to the narcissist and feed into what they need, which is admiration. They need to be like their ego stroked constantly in order to be happy. They need that. It's their, man, it's like their food. It's like how we eat food. They eat admiration. It's crazy. They wake up and eat admiration for breakfast. So usually it's all about them and it's all about how great they are. And God forbid, if you forget to tell them that, we have a problem. And if you say anything otherwise, you have a bigger problem because they'll either get mad or they'll stonewall you or they'll gaslight you or they will ignore you or they'll discard you. And that's a very typical thing is they, and this is kind of that targeting that other personality type, the more dominant personality type. I'm really screwed. I kind of have both. So, they want to dominate and discard. They just want to prove that they can get you. And then they try to kind of break you down. And, I've seen this more than once and I can usually call it quick, but man, sometimes it's a little harder to spot when you genuinely think somebody cares. When you have like the best salesman ever, standing in front of you and man, you're trying to read through that. And when you're on the outside, it's pretty easy to look in. But as soon as you care, you're in trouble because Now you're going to make excuses. Well, maybe they had a bad day. Well, maybe. When you find yourself making excuses for people, that's a problem. It's not something that you should have to do. You're worth more than that. The other thing they do a lot is they'll tell you that you're too sensitive, or that you basically you're in your own head. Get out of your own head, or you think too much, or you worry too much, or whatever. Basically, they're just not caring. They're disregarding your feelings completely. Your feelings don't matter. And you'll question yourself, like, am I too sensitive? Am I overreacting? Am I, just in my own head? Maybe he's right, or maybe she's right. Maybe I'm just, worried too much. No, you're probably not. You're allowed to worry. And you know what they should do? They should make you feel better. And they should be appreciative that you care. Not if you're like a psycho crazy person and like constantly questioning somebody. That's a whole different conversation. But if you think they're a narcissist and they are being disingenuous and not caring at all about how you're feeling. I had a death in my family, and they kind of just said, like, oh, that sucks, sorry, like, that was it. And then they were all about them the whole week, and I'm like, okay, like, and that was kind of probably one of the really strong identifying factors was, people were checking in that I haven't talked to for a long, long time, and caring. And this person that, even if they were just a friend, I would have expected them to be more kind. And keep that in mind. If they're not as kind as your own friends, then you shouldn't be in a relationship with them. Duh. Like, I think people that we're in relationships with should, at the bare minimum, be our friend. And do as a friend would do. And if they're not, then get the hell out. Like, those people are just toxic, and they will make the biggest deal over the stupidest things. And then they'll make you seem like you're crazy. And you'll be like, what just happened? Like, I don't even know. And it's really just, they're either seeking admiration, or they like turmoil, because it's got to be back about them. Everything has to be about them. So, it's kind of funny. I won't get into it too much, but, some things happen where I'm going, I think that there's a misunderstanding here. And I'm like, oh, wow, this isn't a misunderstanding. This is very intentional. And as soon as I called it, it was like, as soon as I recognized it, boom, like, they flipped. And then here comes the discard try of, oh, well, maybe it's not a fit. Well, yeah, damn right it's not a fit. Like, because I'm not going to tolerate that crap, and you know it. And so they're afraid of strong people. They want to dominate you, but if they can't, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. So don't be fooled. Don't be stupid. Don't date narcissists. Period. Like, it's dumb. Don't do it. Don't try to change them, because you're not going to. They'll try to convince you they're different, they've changed, they're better, they care so much, and that you just don't see it, and how dare you. Well, sorry, but that's just not the case. Do not question your own reality. If somebody ever makes you question your own reality, they are a narcissist, and you are in danger. And it may not be physical danger, but emotional danger, psychological danger. Don't take chances. Just know that if you feel like when you feel like you have to record a conversation, all the conversations, so that you can play it back, because they will try to convince you you're crazy. Like, I didn't say that, or no, that's not how it happened, or you were the one that started it, or you were the one that said, no. If you're recording conversations, get the hell out. Like, that's when you know you're dealing with a full-blown narcissist, because they will never admit wrong. They don't apologize. They don't care enough. They literally are, everything they do is self-serving, and it doesn't always appear that way, right? But it is. It's to look good. It's so that they look good, right? So keep that in mind. If you have anything to add, feel free to add it. I would love to hear all the red flags. I mean, I've got tons of them, but I don't have all day to sit and talk about them. I think we could probably, get them out there. We should do I will do a very pointed video on, the details, the definition, the red flags, and then how to get out of it, because it's not always easy. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I've been there, done that. So for me, I was like, oh, I see what this is, I'm out. But you may not be able to see it when you're close to it, because once you care, you're in the storm, and it's really hard to get out of the storm because they have convinced you that you're crazy. They've probably broken down your confidence. There's a lot of things that go on in these crazy situations. So just don't fall for it. Please, please, please. So anyways, but we'll touch base again and keep talking about this subject, because I think it's really important to talk about what goes on out in the dating world and how to head things up and how to know what to watch for. So until next time.